Welcome to Module 3. This is Part B. Part A consists of warehousing and other aspects which we will be dealing at a later stage. Since Module 3 and Module 4, Part B of Module 3 and Module 4 are linked to each other, let me start with Part B of Module 3. Which we will continue with module 4, so that supply chain network models, various models associated with network design, they are all discussed, and it will be a continuity for your understanding. So in this part, we will discuss with factors influencing distribution. This PPT has been prepared by referring many of the videos reference from the internet, and I owe a thanks to every one of them, and this is exclusively used for the purpose of education. The role of distribution in the supply chain. Why distribution makes a very critical aspect in supply chain, that we will discuss. To start with, distribution refers to the steps taken to move and store a product from supplier stage to a customer stage in the supply chain. The definition is very simple and quite understandable. I am distributing from a supplier till it reaches the customer. So from supplier, first it reaches the manufacturer, where it gets converted into finished product, then it goes to a distributor, then to retailer, and finally it reaches the customer. That entire process that involves distribution as well as storage, that is movement of the either the raw material or the finished product, and then storage of those semi-finished products and finished products at each and every stage of the supply chain makes the entire distribution network. Raw materials and components are moved from suppliers to manufacturers, whereas finished products are moved from manufacturer to the end customer. Some of the supply chain will contain distributors and retailers. Some of the supply chains may not contain distributors and retailers. It may directly reach the customer. So it depends on the product and the organization that follows the particular supply chain. Normally, it is observed that apparel industry has a total movement of or total distribution of nearly 35% of the total revenue. So whatever the income that gets, it is distributed towards the distribution, that is both the transportation as well as the storage, if it is an apparel industry. And similarly, if it is a cement industry, it is observed that 30% of the revenue goes to distribution. This should indicate you why I need to give a very big importance for the distribution in the supply chain. And the process of designing a distribution network has two broad phases, and in the first phase a broad structure of the supply chain network is visualized. Here what I do, should I have all the five elements of the supply chain? Should it start with supplier, then manufacturer, distributor, retailer, and customer? Or can it be supplier, manufacturer, and customer directly? Or can it be manufacturer to customer directly? See, some of the agricultural products. See, agricultural products, they will grow and distribute to customer directly. Even if it is many of the large farms, for example, they grow fruits in their backyard, and from those fruits either they prepare the ketchup or the jam and directly sell it to the customer. So there is no need of any retailer or the supplier. No one is required. The manufacturer themselves will be supplying to the customer directly, and manufacturer themselves will have the supply with them. supply of raw materials with them. So that broad structure has to be thought during the first phase. So that depends on what kind of product I am going to distribute, what is the status of my network, and all those aspects will be taken into picture while designing about the broad structure of the supply chain network. This phase decides the number of stages in the supply chain and the role of each stage. In the second phase, what do I do? This broad structure is taken and converted into specific locations. See, for example, I may feel that southern part of India is good for me, for my product. So I am a manufacturer of, say, dhotis. Okay, where do I get where do I get the big market for dhotis? Should I go to North India or southern part of India, eastern part of India or western part of India? And all of us know that yes, dhotis are abundantly used in the southern part of India. So it's better for me that I establish in a factory in the southern part of India. That is the broad structure. Next, where in southern part of India? Should it be in Karnataka or in Kerala or in Tamil Nadu or in Andhra Pradesh? If it is in Karnataka, where in Karnataka? If it is in Tamil Nadu, where in Tamil Nadu? Then many factors will come into picture. Like, see, depending on the capability, capacity, demand allocation, and so many things. Even the raw material availability, though these cotton is the major raw material. So where do I have the maximum cotton growers? In Karnataka I have, in Tamil Nadu I have, especially Erode, Coimbatore, that region. That is the hub of cotton growers. Okay, so Tirupur is the major place for cotton cloths, and each and every house, I can say, will have a small or a large factory in their house. So this is what I have to think of. So a broad structure that was thought in the first phase can be converted into a detailed and specific aspect during the second phase. So in this example, we will discuss about how Dell had to change its strategies depending on the requirement of the customer and demand of the market. Till 2007, Dell distributed its PCs directly to end customers. Because of that, it was very difficult for Dell to meet the customer's demand and distribute it on time. And customers had to wait a few days to get the either the laptop or the desktop from the company. Whereas HP had many resellers spread across the city. If you want to have a laptop and you go to HP storeroom and retail storeroom and you can get it immediately. So people started moving towards HP products rather than waiting for few days with of Dell products. Because of the network issues, Dell could not supply them on time and it was getting delayed many a times. It was going up to 7 days, 8 days, 10 days before the customer got the order. So that was the major problem for Dell. So later Dell decided that it's not their cup of tea. So they also started giving it to resellers. HCL then entered the field. HCL took up the job of retailing, distribution, networking, servicing of Dell, and Dell could establish themselves. Later, Dell changed its strategy from just a laptop to customized laptop. So even today, Dell is famous because you can get the specification and parameters whatever you want in Dell, and Dell will get it for you within 1 or 2 days. That is the uniqueness of Dell, and people are ready to wait for 1 or 2 days now because they know that a Dell laptop is there right in front of them. They could have bought that. Just for the reason it is not suitable to their configuration, they are waiting. Now customers will wait. That's what Dell did. You are going to get what you want. It's not, you need not have to be compelled to get satisfied with whatever the other companies distribute to you. No, you are going to get whatever you want. Dell will supply you whatever you want. In that way, they occupied the market. Firms can make choices when designing their network, distribution network. See, many times the inappropriate network may have a very significant negative effect on the profitability of the firm. See, for example, Web1 I have already explained you how over enthusiastic, over investment of the number one grocery, online grocery organization met the doom within a few years of its establishment, even though the hype was too much with $800 million of collection as IPO. Web1 could not sustain the heavy investment, unnecessary investment in the network, unnecessary investment in the supply chain, and not understanding the pulse of the customers properly. It met with the failure. Similarly, another example is Blockbuster. At one point of time during say 2000, late 1990s, Blockbuster was the number one company, and it dealt with renting the videos to the customers, and it had many retail centers spread across this city, and almost every locality had one Blockbuster stores. So people used to go there while coming back from their office, pick up one video of their choice, come back home, watch that video, and while going back to their office, again return it to the store and go away, go to their work. So that was very convenient for the citizens, very custom, and each customer liked that concept. But the problem was, if you get delayed by one day, instead of returning it the next day, if you return it one day delay, the fine was too much, the penalty was too much. And at one point of time, when they analyzed the penalties that the Blockbuster was getting, was almost as same as the amount that used to get it from rent, or sometimes even more than the rent. Annual income was more from the penalties and lesser from the rent. And at that point of time, Blockbuster was very happy. It was flying high. During 2001, what happened? Reed Hastings of Netflix, he approached John Antioco of Blockbuster, and he started discussing, are you interested in merging? And John Antioco at that point of time, he laughed at Reed Hastings of Netflix. Netflix was just coming up at that point of time. Even though it had some of the retail stores, people were not really very happy with the service, because they had to go to particular stores. It was not abundantly available. Even the choices of the videos of movies, it was not very abundant. People were not really ready to move to Netflix because they were very happy with Blockbuster. And Reed Hastings was laughed out of the room. And then Reed Hastings learnt a lesson from this incident, and he started his own idea. And when he analyzed, did the market survey and tried to understand the pulse rate of the customers, he could understand that they were very happy with Blockbuster because many retail stores were available, first point, and choice of the movies was also very high. These are the two reasons. But they were very angry or unhappy, totally dissatisfied with the mode of collection of the penalty for late submission of the late return, I mean to say late return of the CDs or the videos. He took that point into consideration and introduced a new concept at that point of time known as subscription. Don't pay rent, you go for subscription. 1 month subscription, 1 week subscription, 1 week subscription, you pay the amount, you watch any number of movies you want. Even if you return it late, I'm not going to charge you anything. So if you cannot return it today, you return it tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you have 1 week's time, no problem. So within that week you can watch any number of movies. You go for monthly subscription, you keep the CD with you. If you want to watch more than once, you watch. You call your relatives, you call your friends on the weekends, you watch with them. In that way, people started liking this idea. So the subscription fees for the entire month was kept a little bit low, but Netflix got huge amount at one point of time. At the single time, he started getting more amount, and that helped him to enlarge his network, expand his network. In that way, within no time, Netflix started getting into blockbusters market, and blockbusters started fading away. And now, probably in Oregon, in US, there is the last one blockbuster store. They are trying to hang on, and a company, an organization which was on top at one point of time, how it faded away, or how it can fade away because of the overconfidence. Because if you do not have a proper distribution network, these are some of the best examples. Factors influencing distribution network design. There are many factors, like the performance of a distribution network should be evaluated along two dimensions. One is the value provided to the customer, and the second one is the cost of meeting the customer needs. Let us discuss each one of them in detail. First one is the values that are what we can give to customers, or what aspects customers value. What measures are influenced by the structure of the distribution network in value creation to customers. First one is the response time. What is response time? The amount of time it takes for a customer to receive an order. I was giving an example of Dell. So people were not ready to go to Dell stores, or not ready to order to Dell laptops, because the response time was very high, whereas HP very less, or almost zero. That is a very critical factor. So people want the product to be available to them right then and there, and that is why, even though online business is on the rise, but the retail business has not become zero. The only reason is that if you go to a retail showroom, you can get the product then and there. Even if the variety is a little bit lesser, you cannot get the variety there, but still you can get a product immediately. Whereas if you want to select a particular variety, you have to wait for 7 or 8 days. So that is why response time is very critical, and retail shops have still survived because of response time. Product variety, and that is the second reason. If you are ready to compromise with the response time, then you can get the product variety. So people want variety now, they are not ready to compromise with the variety. So they want different kinds of products, and they need to have a variety to make a choice. Third factor is product availability, and you go to a showroom, whether it is that product is available or not. If that product is available, yes, you are happy, the customers are happy. If the product is not available, then customers are dissatisfied. We want to purchase an ice cream, we go to an ice cream parlor, and we want a particular flavor, say chiku, and if you say there is no chiku, I have butterscotch and vanilla, then we are a little bit dissatisfied. We are upset a little bit. I wanted to taste that flavor that is not available. What to do? Either I have to compromise, or I have to come out. So that's what happens. Product availability is another critical factor to make or create value to the customer. Customers experience when you go to a store of a retail showroom or when you order it online, uh, you expect something and you get something. If both are matching with each other, then your customer then the customer's experience is great. Customers are happy. As a customer, when we order, we will be expecting something, right? So if we are happy with that and if we get what we had expected, oh yeah, that's a delight. And if it exceeds, we are delighted. Okay. The next factor is time to market, and this is another way in which I can create a value to the customer. And if I say that in another 6 months you will get this particular product which will take the market by storm, and you hype the product to a great extent, give wide publicity, people will be waiting for that launch date. It could be a movie, it could be a hotel, or it could be a, an automobile, or it could be a mobile, it could be anything. And when Apple says I'm launching this particular product on this particular day, people will be there in queue, in fact, to purchase Apple's product. Within no time, whatever it had manufactured, within 5 minutes, it gets sold out. So that is the way in which you can create a value to the customer. Time to market is also very, very important. Order visibility, ability of customers to track their orders from placement to delivery. I have ordered today, I don't know where it is, when will it come, I do not know anything, and when it comes, yeah, I am sure it has come. If it doesn't come within 5 days, 10 days, I call the courier people. Courier people will say, we do not know, sir, it has been dispatched. That was the case. If you go 15 years back, probably, whenever we order, whenever we book something and uh, ask our friend whether it has, you have got that or not, he used to say, no, we do not know. And when I used to call the franchisee which booked the order, sir, we have booked, we have dispatched, it may take, sir, it may reach, I don't know where it is. But that's not the case now, thanks to GPS. Each and every package can be tracked now, and we are very happy that we have our own GPS system, Navik. Okay, we are no more dependent on foreign GPS system. We have our own Navik, and it can vary with the help of those things. We can track each and every consignment. That is order visibility. Returnability, can I return the products comfortably? And many a times it so happens that I have asked the person who delivered it to me online, I have asked him to wait for few minutes, check the product, whether the size and everything is okay or not. If it is not okay, then and there itself I have returned him. Okay, so that is the beauty of online shopping, and that's why online shopping could become very popular. Earlier, that returnability was not there with online. Okay, and when online businesses started this new concept of you can return the product if you are not happy. 7 days return, 10 days return policy, 15 days return policy, people started liking that. Okay, these are some of the factors which will create a value to the customer. Next is some of the factors that affect the desired response time. See, for example, in this graph, what we can see is that the number of facilities versus response time. Okay, if you increase the number of facilities, see, if the number of facilities are very, very high, the response time is very, very low. You can have a very short response time provided you have lot many facilities in the supply chain. Like you, but what will happen As you decrease the number of facilities, the response time goes on decreasing. So at this point of time, you have very less facilities, and as a result your response time is also very high. Okay. Example one, Amazon customers trade off a fast response time for high level of variety. That's not the case now. Even Amazon is able to cope up with its own distribution network. It is not dependent on the courier and other people. It has its own distribution facility, and it's okay. See, it seems it's okay. But what I have seen, some of the remote areas, they do not have the facility. From there to Amazon facility they order for the courier, and it may get delayed there, and order pickup itself will take 1 or 2 days, many a times it so happens. But because of the variety available in Amazon, people are okay, it's going on. The decrease in the response time increases the number of facilities. So if you increase the number of facility, obviously response time will decrease. So what will happen to cost, that we will discuss next. Another important thing is that the changing distribution network design affects the following supply chain. Another one, the inventory. How inventory is affected as the number of facilities increases. What will happen to inventory? Cost. It will increase obviously. See what happens to cost. If you increase the number of facilities, inventory cost will increase. In the previous slide what we observed, as you increase the number of facilities, response time will reduce. But if you increase the number of facilities, what will happen to cost? Inventory cost will increase, because you have to construct number of warehouses, small or big. As a result, inventory cost will increase. Transportation, increasing the number of facilities increases the total transportation, even though it decreases initially. It's how it happens. See, as you increase the number of facilities, if you increase the number of warehouses at different locations, then transportation cost will decrease to start with. But later what will happen? The transportation cost will increase, because you may have to purchase more and more number of vehicles. If you hire more and more number, purchase more and more number of vehicles, you have to hire more and more number of drivers, cleaners, maintenance people. As a result, what will happen? After some time, your transportation cost will start increasing. Till this point of time, it will decrease, because you are having more number of facilities, due to which more number of maybe warehouses or whatever it is. But after some time, it will start increasing, because that was not necessary to introduce or give so much of facilities to customers. Next is the facility cost versus number of facilities. Obviously, right, as the number of facilities increases, facility cost will obviously increase, there is no doubt in it. Next one is when I merge these two, number of facilities with respect to response time and the total logistic cost, all these three things on a common graph, then what happens? Number of facilities, as the number of facilities increases, total logistics cost. What is total logistics cost? That is the transportation cost, that is facilities cost, combination of all those things. It will decrease, because transportation cost will decrease, but later it will start increasing, because transportation cost won't help you as the number of facilities increase. And the response time, obviously it will decrease. If you increase the number of facilities, response time will obviously decrease. So facilities and handling, facility cost decrease as the number of facilities reduced. Information, yeah, this is another thing, that's what I was saying, the inventory, transportation, facility costs, all these things will come into picture. That is termed as the total logistics cost. So that we can observe here, because of the trade-off between the inventory, transportation, it will decrease first, but later as the transportation cost continues to increase after some time, then as a result the even total logistics cost will also increase. Thank you.